r/ForeverAlone. BoldSoul3 says, why do people who are in relationships and having sex tell us to focus on ourselves and not have sex? Why do people who tell us to focus on ourselves rather than seeking sex/relationships never take their own advice by leaving their partners to focus on themselves? Seems hypocritical. Rules for thee, but not for me. Telenosomachis says, because they don't really mean it. This is just a way of them saying something that sounds positive, in the hope that we will go away and stop complaining. They have no idea how to help us and don't actually care. Fluffiglas at a new time says, this is so on point, I wish I could upvote more than once. Kudos. Proud Warthog 8076 says, they are saying you aren't good enough. Glass Violinist 8352 says, for the same reason celebs, religious leaders and billionaires say that money will not make all of us happy. Hypocrisy. Unaris Daith says, people don't want other people to be people. Rithmaxed says, it's to get you to not talk about it. They want you not talking about if you feel bad all only and are hoping you will be too busy doing self-improvement that you won't talk about it, so they don't have to hear about it or think about it. Asocialbypt says, it's gaslighting while not looking like gaslighting to normies. Normies get relationships and sex without having to go through all of this focus on yourself or self-improvement bullshit. They don't have to go through all of the effort of miserable, exhausting workouts in gyms and pursuing multiple expensive, demanding hobbies just to appear interesting to others. Wustiaf Sperm says, they are saying that so that you go away so they can go back to having sex. Big Mugadadijani says, clearly they don't understand and that shit is annoying. Their advice doesn't work for everyone. Throwaway 470,791 says, they don't have an answer, it's just what they say to feel good about themselves for helping and to get Reddit upvotes. Maimuna says, because they don't need to. That doesn't make it bad advice though. It's like someone without a college degree making six figures doing manual labor work can still advise you to get a college degree. Doesn't mean they have to drop their job and pursue a college degree for the advice to be valid. The advice can be valid, but that doesn't mean they themselves will benefit from it, nor do they have to take it. Same thing with people in relationships. They don't need to leave their partner for the advice to be valid. Taking the advice might not be as beneficial for them as it is for FARs, who can oftentimes tunnel vision on relationships to the point where it's detrimental to their life. Or maybe they have already focused on themselves and that's how they got in a relationship. That's one of the main reasons why it's a common advice after all. Plus, who's to say these people aren't focusing on themselves while in a relationship? r/ForeverAlone. Lanellinus Neverend says, how do you guys react to girls leaving you undelivered? Do you double text, get angry, get in your feelings, or are you numb? Forsaken Problem 6758 says, whatever you do, don't quadruple text ashamed at how desperate I once was. Naos 210 says, I'm not sure what's worse. Being left undelivered or being left on read. I occasionally double text but leave it alone otherwise. If I see them in person, I talk normally, and if it doesn't come up, I can at least assume they just didn't see it or forgot to look, but that might copium. Topemaka Kilogoods says, just gotta let it go, man. It ain't worth the hassle. It's awful and it sucks, but she ain't it. Chimichimi Extreme says, you talk to girls? Competitive Shift 99 says, if you're not a priority, neither is she. Walk. Vriar says, depends what the last message was. If it was like a question or some conversational message, then I just don't ever text back. Cowding Greenhorn says, It hurts, and, frick, ing sucks like hell. I used to send more messages hoping that they'll respond, but I've come to find out that the best thing to do is just walk away. Delete the number if you're afraid that you won't be able to keep yourself from messaging her. It's just not worth it, and on the rare occasion, it can actually cause the girl to find you more attractive. Useless throwaway 224 says, I never get left undelivered because not a single woman would talk to me in the first place. Lana Somaloza 234 says, my policy is one double text everyone's busy, I get it. Shit happens, never a second double text if you've forgotten me twice. Well, sadness is an old friend, and I'm perfectly capable of reading the writing on the wall. Uglegad 92 says, I've just gotten used to it. They all end up ghosting me, so when it inevitably happens I guess I'm just a little disappointed, but I simply block/unmatch them and promptly move on. r/ForeverAlone. EpicSwag3 says, just ask that girl out. But I already know what she is going to say. Ever get people telling you to just grab life by the balls and ask the girl across the room from you out for coffee? Well, maybe not so literally, but we've all been told at some point not to make any excuses and just go for it, right? But it doesn't work, and it will never work for us. Nobody seems to understand how pointless it would be for me to approach a girl. It would only serve to make both of our days worse. At best it would be polite rejection, and at worst public humiliation. There is just no positive outcome. But you never know, she might say yes, but she won't. The chance of any girl saying yes in this hypothetical scenario is the same as the Earth suddenly exploding. It might happen, but you'd need a team of NASA scientists to work out those odds. Proud Warthog 8076 says, NGL, I would be more scared of them saying yes and then finding out how much of a loser I'm without friends, social skills, or any sort of dating experience. If someone actually gave me their number I probably wouldn't use it. Tinist says, yeah, no, they won't get it. They've always had it better than us, and we get the bad end of the stick. It's frick, I'm bullshit. Accomplished West 90-10 says, for me, even if some hypothetical girl did say yes, I very highly doubt I'd actually be able to hold such a relationship together. Mrajasan 2024 says, she won't say yes, but you also miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Failure is better than regret. Trust me on that, I know from experience. Madchita 715 says, cold approaching is a terrible idea and will not work 99.99% of the time. You don't even need to go out to do it. There are women in this sub, just cold approach them and copy paste their response here for our amusement. People don't like to be interrupted and solicited into buying something they're not interested in. Definite Lilowick says, I do that. Never works. I still keep trying though, it's the only way out. Antida K says, asking out a girl in this time is a death sentence anyways. People are somehow less social than before, and most women from what I heard will call any guy who approaches them a creep or a weirdo. Appointmentanable 47 says, this simply doesn't work in Western Europe or the USA. Even talking to strangers in general is considered weird, asking someone out even more so. Efficient Baker 1694 says, I mostly think the same way you do op, but I'll try play to devil's advocate. Wouldn't you rather find out what the actual answer is before deciding what you think the answer will be? If not, I totally get it. r/ForeverAlone. Deep Distortion says, no man has ever loved me. My dad died before I could form any memories of him. I have almost no male family members. I couldn't even name one. The nicest thing a guy has ever said to me is that I'm not That ugly or not that stupid men in my life always talked down on me, and the one close male friend I had sexually assaulted me and acted like it never happened. I even forgave him, stupidly. Recently I tried to talk to a guy, hoping to date him. He talked to me for hours then suddenly rejected me. When does it end? Gunolawi says. What are you actually seeking though? If you're genuinely seeking a relationship then fine, but wanting male attention to fill a void isn't the right thing, even though it may seem like it. Can relate, but for women instead. Netobiathanized says. I'm sorry you experienced that. Mochafrap 134 says. I'm sorry to hear about your experiences. I can relate in the feeling that no one has ever really loved/cared for me in an unconditional way. I'm also female, never really experienced healthy relationships with men in any form. Don't have any friends left, have had really toxic and unhealthy relationships with men in my family. I'm not even interested in dating, because I'm struggling to get my life together. It's a bittersweet feeling to miss out on social and developmental milestones in life. Munificent says. It ends when you sever any need for affection. I didn't mention want, because you'll always want something as a human. Stop wanting much, stop needing anything besides yourself. It ends when you begin. Reflect, adapt. You're worthy enough. Zyangling Boa says. My dad didn't like me very much either. I've raised a wuss, dad he died young, so I've grown up without a dad. You know what that means, unconfident timid spineless loser who hasn't had his first kiss at 22 and always gets rejected because he's not good enough. Narxticus says. My dad has always been housebound and on morphine, but I'm so sorry to hear about your complete loss. I distinctly remember when I first realized I was different from other kids for not having a dad that did things. It's hard when your only experience is a negative. I haven't put myself out there enough, but the bad experiences make me want to avoid ever doing it again. Astralcipher11 says. I love you. Dotty9 says. Sorry about your loss. I'm not very close to my father and most of the men in my life have always said the same things to me. Had a similar situation, but with another woman the day before our meetup. She asked to meet up as friends instead and politely declined. It sucks. Open bracket. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.